Hi everyone, today's video is going to be an update on my makeup inventory. So I film these about every 6 months, not exactly. The last one I filmed was in March, and then I filmed one in August. Well, I'm filming one today, duh. So this is where I go and I through my entire collection and I count everything. I like the videos where they show you the makeup, but those are really time consuming to film. And I know that sounds like I'm just being lazy, but if you don't know, I film before I go to class. I'm a PhD student, so and it's a lot of editing, and I don't really have software to edit. I don't edit my videos very rarely, like maybe once or twice a month I do, but that's just not, I just get up and do it. So, I'm just gonna go through my numbers, and I hope you still find that interesting. I find that interesting still, so we'll just see. But anyway, so I'm gonna start with face primers. So in March, the last time I did this was March 16th, and then I took these numbers the 25th of August. Today's the 29th, because this weekend we went to a German-American festival. It was really fun, so I didn't film because I was doing that. So yeah. But anyway, so let's start. So for face primers, in March, I had 11, and now I have 7. So I definitely went down on that. The most I ever had was August of 2018, and that's when I had 15. So if you don't know, I am currently on a no-buy. I've been on a no-buy for 10 months. I only buy things if I completely run out. So I've bought a new setting spray because I completely ran out. So things like that. But in general, I'm not buying anything. So yeah, I've definitely gone down on that, which is great. For base products, so this includes foundations and BB creams and CC creams and whatever. I just combined them all just because that was easier. In March, I had 10, and now I have 7. So I have used up 3. Now I will go ahead and let you know that when I count these little foil packet things, these count as 1. I count every single thing I have. For me, that's just like a more honest way to do it. So yeah, that's what I do. I also try to, I try to clump things that make sense to me, but not clump too much, because I find when people really divide out their thing, this is how many pink blushes I have, and this is how many peach blushes I have. You can divide it out to where your numbers seem really small, but they're not really. They're actually really large. You've just divided it. It's just like a way of manipulating your data. So I try not to do that. I clump where it makes sense. So that's why I clumped that. So like I said, I have 7. The most I've ever had was in January of 2018. I had 37 base products. So we've gone down significantly, and that's great. That's what I would like to do. For concealer, in March I had 5, and I still have 5. The most I ever had was 26, which was in January of 2018. I did have a palette that I ended up using up one shade and then getting rid of the palette, so I think that was a big thing. But yeah, I've stayed the same in the past 6 months or so. So next we have powders. In March I had 11, and now I have 9. So again, I've gone down. That's great. That's the goal. For a lot of these items, I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot of concealers. You don't. I have the same skin tone every single day. I like the colored products. I like variation in that. Sometimes I want a cool toned highlight versus a warm tone highlight. I don't need as many as I have, but variation in that makes sense. But for base products or eyebrows or a lot of things, to me, it doesn't make sense to have a bunch of choices because I don't need them. So like I said, I now have 9. The most amount of powders I ever had was 27, and that was in January of 2018. So again, we're going down. Going down is the goal. For concealer, I already did that. I'm sorry. I need to highlight where I am. There we go. For blushes, in March I had 63, and now I have 64. I know I haven't bought any blushes, so I must have miscounted one time or the other. I don't know. I do the best I can. Honestly and truly, I do. But I'm sure, without a doubt, there are some times where I miss things. So probably I just missed one, and whatever. I can't do anything about it, but I now have 64. The most amount of blushes I ever had was again in January of 2018, and I had 75. So I've gone down, but I still got a lot. For bronzers, In March, I had 18, and now I have 16, so I've definitely gone down there. I haven't used any up, but I must have decluttered some. And the most amount of bronzers I ever had was 30, again, in January of 2018. That was ridiculous. I mean, again, for me, bronzers, I don't need a lot of variation. I know not everyone agrees with that, and that's fine. But for me, I don't need 10 different bronzer variations because I want the same general look for my bronzer every time. Next, for highlighters, I went from 39 to 41. And again, I haven't bought a highlighter. Nope, I have not. So I don't know what that increase would be. I might have just miscounted. I don't know. But in January of 2018, I had 49, and that's the most I've ever had. So the trend is always down, and that's what I want for most of these things because I just don't need that much. For eye primers, so these are just like clear eye primers. I don't really like them. I like a cream shadow much better. In March, I had 5, and now I have 4. So I've gotten rid of one. Awesome. I know I used up one, so that's great. The most I ever had was 10, again, in January of 2018. Before January, after that I did a declutter because I moved from Georgia to Ohio. So that's probably why things have changed. Okay, for cream eyeshadows, in March I had 31 and I still have 31. I haven't used any up. I wasn't expecting that to go down. The most I ever had was 49 in January of 2018. Next, for glitters and pigments. I love me some glitters and pigments. Those are some of my favorite things to play with. In March I had 41 and now I have 40. I'm not sure why. I don't believe I've used any up. And I don't think I've decluttered any. So, I don't know. I'm sure I miscount occasionally. And the most I ever had was 46 in January. Next, we have single eyeshadows. And for single eyeshadows, I had 29 and now I have 28. Again, I think I just miscounted because I don't remember using one up, but whatever. The most I ever had of single shadows was 54. I don't really use my single shadows very much, so I need to get that farther down. For gel and liquid eyeliners, I went from 14 to 13, so I, went down 1. The most I've ever had was 20, and that's just kind of ridiculous. I don't think I've used one up. Makeup gets lost. I miscount. I don't know. We'll just see. We'll just keep on chucking and see what happens. For mascara, I had 21. I still have 21. I've used some up, but I've also gotten some for free. I haven't bought any, but I have gotten some, so that's probably why that stayed the same. And the most I ever had was 28. But I usually only have 1 or 2 open, so I know that they can go bad while they're just sitting there, so I don't want to have a huge backstock, but I worry about that slightly less. For pencil eyeliners, I went from 33 to 32. It's a little less. I have too many pencil eyeliners because I have a lot of black and brown. I don't mind a color variation, but I have a bunch of the same color. It's just kind of why? Well, you don't need that. And the most I've ever had was 55, excuse me. For eyebrow products, I have 3, and I used to have 6, so I've definitely gone down. I could go down a little bit more. I like to use an eyeshadow for my eyebrows and then a gel, and that's all I do. I have pretty decent brows without anything in, so. And the most I've ever had was 16 in January of 2018. For eye palettes, I have stayed the same at 44. In March, I had 44, and now I have 44. So that's good. I know I've decluttered some. One of y'all sent me one, which was amazing. I got the Anastasia Beverly Hills Riviera palette, which is gorgeous. Love it. So I did get one palette that was sent to me. For duos, trios, and quads, I have 11, and I had 11 before, so that stayed the same. Now, this is weird. For total number of shadows, so I count every shadow in my duo, trios, and quads and palettes. So if it's a 20 pan palette, that goes for 20. Last time I had 658, and now I have 681. And I don't know why it's gone up so much. The Riviera palette isn't a substantially large palette. So I don't know. I don't know how that happened. But it did, like I said, I've done the best counting, so whatever. I've gone up for that, which is weird. The most I've ever had is 960, so we've still made progress. For the total number of shadows, so that includes my singles, duos, trios, quads, palettes, all of it, I used to have 687 and now I have 709. Again, I'm not sure why it's gone up, but it has, so we're just gonna keep it. For lip treatments, I used to have 10 and now I have 8. We've gone down. Great. That's just like chapsticks and things like that. I know I used some up over the summer because I didn't wear makeup at all because I was in the field, but I know I was doing things like chapstick at least. For lip liners, I had 11 and I still have 11, so that stayed consistent. For colored lip products, so I used to divide these up between lip gloss and lipsticks, but that line is not always super clear because if you have a super opaque lip gloss, what is that? I don't know. So this is strange. I didn't know this. In March I had 202 and now I have 225. I'm sure I got like 1 or 2 for free as like a gift with purchase if I was like buying like something else and it came with it. But I don't know why it's gone up so much, so that's weird. I haven't bought any lip products. Lip products, I have way too many. Lip products are not my favorite. I like a little bit of options, but I have way too many, so that's not something I would even be tempted on buying. The only thing I really want to buy is eyeshadow palettes, really. That's not totally true, but what makes my shadow? So that's weird. For nail polish, I had 104 and I still have 104. So we're not going down there yet. For setting sprays, I had 1 and I still have 1. So that's great. I want to have 1 setting spray. I don't really need a lot of variation with that. So I'm happy with just 1. For body sprays, I had 1 and I still have 1. I'm fine with that being 0. I don't really need a body spray. They don't last as long. For perfume, so this includes perfume samples, you know, the little freebies, and I know I've gotten some of those. I had 52 and now I have 50, so that's good. That's definitely gone down, and you know, those are so easy to accumulate and just forget about, so I try to remember to use those. For number of items with pan, so this is, you know, how many I have like hit pan on. Last time I had 36 and this time I have 35. Which means it's gone down, but also I know I've used up some things, so that's not a bad thing. If it's gone down because it's gone now, great. And then last but not least, it's the total number of products I have. So I have a different Excel spreadsheet that I have every single item I own listed on it. And that's what I use for my weekly product pan and stuff. So how many line items are on that? And before it was 1,408. And now it is 1,406. So in 6 months, I have a net decrease of 2. But hey, it's still lower. I do feel good about my makeup buying. I know I haven't been buying very much. I know I've been using a lot and focusing on what I feel like are the right things for me right now at this point in my life. I am a grad student, like I've said multiple times in this video, so your girl doesn't have a lot of money to just like waste on makeup, because for me at this point it is a waste if I still have a bunch. So that's what I got for you. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you don't mind just hearing the numbers. I find the numbers interesting, but you know. So if you have any questions, requests, suggestions, or comments, go ahead and leave those down below. But yeah, I'll just see y'all real soon. Bye.